Darling, I fed Laura and put her to bed. She should wake up at 4 o'clock. And I'm leaving, Isabella announced, entering the living room where her husband was reading the newspaper and drinking coffee. Archie looked at his wife in confusion and said in a reproachful and outraged tone, "Where are you going? Who are you leaving our daughter with? For your information, I have a meeting with a business partner in an hour. Who will take care of the child while you're having fun? Take care of Laura yourself. You were the one who begged me to give birth to her, so now you can sit with her. I'm tired of these sleepless nights, diapers, and porridge. I devoted 9 months to carrying your child, and now I want to rest and recover after giving birth. Look at what I've become. Soon, your friends and partners' wives won't recognize me. Do what you want, but I'm not going to sit in this mansion like a golden cage anymore. I need my own life," Isabella responded. Archie angrily threw the newspaper on the table and clenched his lips tightly. Uncontrollable anger engulfed him at that moment, but he managed to suppress the boiling flame inside. The man had been married to Isabella for 5 years, and there was a significant age difference between them, but it didn't bother either of them. It seemed that everything was good and going quite smoothly. Their business brought in a stable income, and his beautiful wife pleased his eyes. People envied and admired their family and lifestyle. But Archie lacked an heir for complete happiness. He passionately dreamed of a child who would become the meaning of his life, his hope, and joy in old age. And Isabella, accustomed to carefree luxurious life and freedom, was not in a hurry to become a mother. Nevertheless, Archie managed to insist on his desire, and his wife became pregnant. She gave birth to a daughter whom Archie named after his late mother. The birth of a child did not change Isabella's worldview and attitude towards family values. She still loved herself more than anyone else and always tried to take care of herself first and only then of her loved ones in any situation. Isabella devoted a minimum amount of attention to her daughter, which saddened Archie, who was worried about the girl not receiving enough maternal attention and affection. After his wife's unexpected statement, Archie realized that this could not continue. Isabella would not change, so he needed to find a good, qualified, and experienced nanny for his daughter. "Go," Archie said disappointedly and sharply, standing up and piercing his wife's eyes with a poignant look. "Today, I'll cancel my meeting with my partner and spend time with Laura. And I'll start looking for a nanny for her. I think this will be better for everyone." "Great idea!" Isabella exclaimed, smiling widely and not hiding her unexpected joy. "Finally, I'll be able to get myself together and return to my old life." "Okay, my dear, see you in the evening. Have a good time." That same day, Archie began to look for a nanny for his daughter. He turned to the best agencies in the capital, which immediately offered him various options. However, none of the nannies seemed suitable for his daughter. In the end, he decided to find a nanny through acquaintances. A close friend introduced Archie to a 40-year-old woman who had raised all of his children. Florence, an educated, intelligent, authoritative woman, immediately appealed to Archie. She had a higher pedagogical education, impressive experience working with young children, and was currently studying psychology. Florence had a 20-year-old son. Archie, who wanted to see a wise, experienced woman who knew everything about motherhood next to his daughter, considered this circumstance extremely important. He quickly reached an agreement with her and introduced her to Laura. When Archie was convinced of the correctness of his decision, he signed a contract with Florence, and she began to work. The man sincerely believed that he had found the best nanny for his daughter. However, he decided to play it safe and installed a hidden camera in the nursery. In the evenings, when Florence went home, Archie would review the footage and carefully observe her actions. And every time he was pleased with the quality of her work. Florence turned out to be an honest, diligent, and affectionate nanny whom the little girl quickly became attached to. Laura even seemed to prefer her to her own mother, which didn't surprise Archie. Since he had brought the nanny into the house, Isabella had stopped paying attention to their daughter and had fully immersed herself in the carefree, luxurious life of a millionaire's wife. "Florence, let's have a cup of tea," Archie said in the evening after the woman had put Laura to bed and came downstairs to leave for home. Florence readily agreed, and they drank tea together in the living room. The woman enthusiastically and admiringly told Laura's father about everything she had done with his daughter that day. And Archie, holding his breath, listened to her. He couldn't recall a single instance when Isabella had paid attention to something that seemed important to Florence. Archie was amazed at how attentive, caring, and sensitive Florence was. He was pleased that he had chosen her as their nanny. Today, Laura tried a banana for the first time. You should have seen her face at that moment. Florence said with shining eyes full of delight. She liked it so much, she kept licking her lips afterward. And she loves that stuffed kitten you gave her. She falls asleep with it every night. And she strokes it until she falls asleep. Thank you for everything, Archie replied with a grateful and kind tone, moved by the woman's story. As long as you're in this house, I can be at ease about my daughter. I'm lucky to have met you. Oh, come on, Florence said, embarrassed. It's me who's lucky to have the opportunity to interact with such a pure, bright, and kind creature like your daughter. She fills my life with positive energy. With her, I feel like I'm 20 years younger. Archie quickly became attached to the cheerful, responsive, and naive woman and soon began to consider her a member of his family. He enthusiastically and with admiration told his wife about Laura's nanny, thanking fate for her every time. Isabella became wary of her husband's excessive warm and emotional attitude towards the nanny. Troubling and disheartening thoughts gradually came into her head, which prompted Isabella to demand that Florence be immediately dismissed. Archie, I don't like that Laura is becoming headstrong and spoiled. She doesn't even listen to me, and the child has an unbearable, whimsical character. And it's all the nanny's fault. She has a bad influence on our daughter. Fire this woman, I'll find a nanny who meets my requirements myself. What? Archie asked, looking at his wife in surprise. What are you inventing problems out of thin air? Laura has a wonderful character and a pure kind heart. She's a sweet, obedient girl. I'm satisfied with Florence's work and have no intention of firing her. Why do you think our daughter has become unbearable? From the harsh, angry look of her husband, Isabella understood that it wouldn't be easy to get rid of the woman who had charmed her husband. She decided to act differently. A few weeks later, Isabella surreptitiously put her diamond ring, which Archie had given her on their wedding anniversary, into Florence's bag. In the evening, she had a grandiose scandal at home with tears, hysterics, and reproaches. Archie, I can't find the gold ring with a diamond that you gave me on our wedding anniversary. Isabella exclaimed in despair, tragically waving her arms. You probably put it somewhere and don't remember where. Look for it carefully, Archie replied, reading the evening newspaper. I remember for sure that the ring was in the box, which is in the bedroom. But now it's not there. This ring is a symbol of our love, and I will be devastated if it doesn't come back to me. I searched the whole house, and the ring is nowhere to be found. Listen, honey, don't you think that Florence might have taken it? Florence? Archie whispered in astonishment, raising his head and looking at his wife questioningly. That can't be true. Florence is not that kind of person. She's not capable of such meanness. How would you know? You've only known her for a few months, but you're judging her like you've known her for years. I'm telling you, she stole my diamond ring. I never trusted that woman. I don't even understand how she managed to charm you. She's not who she pretends to be. What are you waiting for? Do you want her to clean out our entire house? By the way, you trust our daughter to this woman. Archie never doubted for a second that Florence couldn't have stolen the ring. His wife's words seemed unreasonable to him. Isabella took her husband's hand and led him to the children's room, where Florence was putting Laura to bed. Isabella, what are you doing? Why did we come here? Asked Archie in bewilderment when Isabella opened the door and stepped into the room, still holding her husband's hand. I want to find out what's going on in our house, Isabella said in an arrogant and demanding tone. I feel like my ring didn't just disappear for no reason. Isabella, I won't allow you to defame Florence. Don't you dare! Archie shouted indignantly, looking his wife in the eyes with anger. Florence Georgievna, Isabella addressed the nanny, ignoring her husband's words. My diamond ring has gone missing. Would you like to explain where it went? We've always had staff in our house, but you're the only new person here. Everyone else is a trusted, long-time employee. Florence was stunned by Isabella's words and fell into a stupor. She was so shaken that she lost the ability to speak. Everything started to spin and whirl before her eyes. Her hands and lips trembled, and she was on the verge of bursting into tears from the hurt and disappointment. What are you saying, Isabella? Florence exclaimed, her voice trembling as she lifted her head. I have never touched anything that doesn't belong to me. Have I ever given you reason to doubt my honesty? Please forgive my wife, Florence. That's not what she meant at all. We don't think you're capable of such a thing. It's just a misunderstanding. I'm sure the ring will turn up soon, Archie said apologetically, looking at his smug wife with reproach. At that moment, Isabella grabbed the nanny's bag, which was lying on the table, and put her hand inside. A few seconds later, she pulled out her hand, holding the very diamond ring that had recently gone missing. Archie was stunned as he looked at the speechless and stunned Florence. If Isabella hadn't produced the ring right in front of him, he would have never believed what had happened. He was shaken to his core and didn't know how to react to what he had just witnessed. I told you that you couldn't trust this woman. Isabella exclaimed self-satisfiedly, placing the ring on the table so that everyone could see it. You brought a thief into our home. You should have listened to me. Archie, you have no idea who you're dealing with. I didn't touch your ring. Florence sobbed, taken aback by the unexpected turn of events. I don't know how it ended up in my bag, but I didn't touch it. Archie Evgenyevich, please believe me. Archie saw only one way out of the situation. Florence had to be fired. No matter how much Laura liked her, no matter how attached she was to her, she had to be let go as soon as possible. You're fired. You can pack up your things and leave, he said with a pretense of indifference. Florence grabbed her bag and rushed out of the room, crying. Archie struggled to come to terms with the fact that he would never see his daughter's nanny again, never talk to her over a cup of tea in the evening. He missed the energy that Florence brought into their lives. The man walked around dejected and gloomy, feeling guilty towards Florence deep down inside, even though he knew he had made the only right decision. After all, Isabella found the ring right in front of him. Isabella was pleased with how everything had turned out in the end. But she forgot that the child left without a nanny needed constant attention. Isabella had to give up her friends, beauty salons, and endless shopping trips to dedicate time to her daughter. Archie was searching for a new nanny for Laura and couldn't seem to find one that suited him. One day, Archie decided to turn on the camera and see how Isabella was doing with Laura. He was worried about the girl's changed behavior. She had become suddenly nervous and weepy. Imagine his surprise when he watched the recording from the day before. The camera clearly showed Isabella sitting on the couch and talking on the phone to someone. "Marie, I can't do this anymore. This girl is going to drive me insane. I'm at my wit's end. I'm so tired of dealing with her day and night, no moment of peace. Change her diapers, heat up her food, bathe her, take her outside. I've stopped feeling like a woman. Children are such a punishment. I should never have given birth. I would be living my life the way I wanted if I hadn't. The idea with the ring was brilliant, everything turned out just the way I wanted it. But it hasn't made things easier for me. I should never have set up Florence. I dug my own grave. I can't even see Oscar now because of this obnoxious child. I can't go on a date with him with a screaming baby in my arms. Oscar is upset with me. I have to sit in this golden cage with my hated husband, whom I only tolerate for his money. If it weren't for his money, I would have left for Oscar a long time ago and would be living happily with him." Archie was shocked by what he heard. He rewound the recording several times to listen again to what his wife had recently said to her friend. It was only then that he realized what kind of woman he had decided to share his life with. He understood how foolish and blind he had been. The man hated himself for believing his wife and behaving so cruelly towards an innocent person by allowing her to be slandered. Archie was ready to sink into the ground with regret and shame. He wanted to turn back time, but that was beyond his control. The man, as if scalded, rushed out of the house and, getting into his car, sped off to Florence's place. The woman was reluctant to open the door to him for a while, but realizing that Archie wouldn't calm down and leave, she eventually did. "Florence, please forgive me for everything. I was wrong. I shouldn't have treated you that way. I know you are not guilty of anything and didn't touch that cursed ring. It was all my wife's idea, and she set you up. I'm so sorry. Laura and I miss you and want you to come back to us. Can you forgive me?" Archie pleaded with her. Florence looked at him silently for a few seconds, then calmly and unflinchingly said, casting him an expressive triumphant glance, "We haven't had tea or talked for a long time. Come in, I just put the kettle on, as if I sensed you were coming. Tell me about Laura, how is she?" I was sure that sooner or later justice would prevail. A happy smile spread across the man's face, and he entered the apartment, hastily taking off his shoes. Archie and Florence talked for several hours. The man confessed to her that he had installed a camera in the baby's room, and thanks to her, he saw his wife's true face. Archie returned home late at night. He slept in the guest room, and early in the morning, he woke up his wife and informed her that he was filing for divorce. Isabella cried for a long time, begging her husband not to do this to her, but he was unyielding. He kicked his wife out of the house. She took her jewelry and money with her, but didn't say a word about Laura, pretending that she didn't exist. Archie had no doubt that she didn't need her daughter. Soon, Florence returned to the house, which became home to her after a few months. Archie and Florence got married to raise the girl together in love and harmony, filling their lives with meaning and bright colors.